Okay, today we have a game on Eichenwald. Eichenwald? I'm not sure on the pronunciation. We are playing Anna all the way through, both sides, and the average SR was like 2600, slightly over, I think. So let's look at the team. So this guy has not picked yet, but he is going to pick Lucio, so bear that in mind. So technically we have 3 supports because we also have Symmetra, but I don't really think of Symmetra as being a support. I think of her as more DPS, so for all intents and purposes we have 2-2-2, which is perfectly fine. I would prefer if McCree was playing Soldier, just because on Eichenwald the attacking team has a tendency to pick Pharah, and McCree is not as good at killing Pharah as Soldier is. Also, Eichenwald just has like a lot of long sight lines, and those benefit Soldier much more than they benefit McCree, because his drop-off is so severe. But I actually think Symmetra's decent on this map as well, because there's basically only one way to get to the point. Like, a couple people can get around, but for all intents and purposes, there's only one way, and it's the arch, so you can kind of set up around it and have a good time with Symmetra. So, I don't like what you do right here, because you do the thing where you go up to mess with them. And I don't like when people go up to the door to do that, because you don't really gain anything for doing it, but if you get picked off, you lose a fucking lot, so I don't find it worth the risk. We're really close. We were trying to heal Symmetra, but we stay really close for a while, and we shouldn't be. Like, the entire enemy team can see us, because we're just standing right in front of the archway. If you're playing Anna on Eichenwald, honestly, the attackers should never even really see you, because you can just stand on the opposite end of this street. And you can see all of your team fighting at the choke point, but you can't see the enemy team and they can't see you. So it's very, very difficult to get picked off from the far back on this map. Also, as a support, like, you kind of want to see your whole team so that you can know who needs support. Didn't like that you threw that grenade in there just kind of, like, blindly around the corner, because the thing with Anna, this is less true now because it just got nerfed, but Anna's grenade is, like, the most overpowered thing about her. Because the increased healing is, like, a lot. But, like, it's 50% now, but that's still a lot. And it puts a healing debuff on the enemy. So, ideally, we want to use it so that we can get enemies and allies with it, or just a large congregation of one of them. We don't want to just, like, blindly throw these things out. I didn't think of it, I didn't address it at the time either, but you wasted your sleep dart as well, just kind of firing it at Reinhardt's shield. That has a very, very long cooldown. You can't just use the sleep dart willy-nilly. You have to be trying to accomplish something with it, because if you use it for nothing and then a fight starts, you're at a very large disadvantage. So you, like, the ideal use for the dart, is to either stop somebody else's aggression, or to try and pick someone off, especially if you have a Roadhog. Like, if you can sleep dart someone important in the back line, and Roadhog just gets to pull them in for free and they're dead. So, we don't want to just use the dart for the sake of using the dart, we want to have a specific reason that we're using it. So the enemy team's kind of pushing in, but they don't really want to kill the Symmetra turrets, so it's rather difficult. I don't like that you grenaded there, because Lucio was already healing you, so it was kind of a waste. You weren't about to die, because they couldn't see you. I don't think so. You could have saved it. This one is fine, because you just almost died, but again, you're standing a little bit too far to the right now. You could be standing further back, and they wouldn't have even had that chance to shoot you. Good prioritization. You're going for Reinhardt, even though Roadhog was also low. Reinhardt is more important. Again, sleep darted kind of just for the sake of it. Did manage to get Zarya, but it's not like that was of pivotal concern at the time. But Symmetra's been microwaving everyone and having a pretty good time. This is very sad, by the way. Look at that. Absolutely tragic. Pretty good shot. Alright, so you've almost got Nano Boost, so you're looking, that was drastically uncalled for. You used the grenade right there to heal basically no damage. And, like, it's not like I think you're gonna get punished for doing that right here, but it is something that you can be punished for quite easily, to grenade like that. You don't want to use the grenade between fights to heal people faster. You want to just shoot them. Because if you're between fights, there's no reason to use the grenade. They don't need it that urgently. So, Nano Boost charges really fast, so we are looking for an opportunity to use it as soon as possible so we can start charging another. That was entirely wasted. Everyone was at full hit points. Again, just kind of darting for the sake of it. Zarya is very upset about what just happened to her. Now, again, just basically not using the grenade for anything. We're just using it for the sake of using it. That's very unlucky that Roadhog jumped right as you were about to shoot that guy. Unlucky. Now, again, it's like, this one is less egregious, but you shouldn't really have been earth-shattered right there. Because, again, like, we're standing in a place where we're very easily visible, and, like, we only really just barely get clipped by it. So we could stand more to the left, and they would not see us through the choke point, and that would have probably never happened. Good nano boost, you get Reinhardt as he's charging in, which is the ideal time to nano boost Reinhardt, and the team's getting a bit carried away. But it don't get punished for it, it's all fine. Enemy team is just going to reset. Well, you hope that's what they do. Sometimes people just run in. Again, unnecessary. Like, I've watched this through earlier, but I didn't notice just how frequently you use the grenade for basically no reason. This is a tragic waste of company resources to just keep throwing the orange juice on the ground. We need to be a bit more frugal with it. Like, don't get greedy and be like, oh, I can probably win this fight without using the grenade. Like, don't take it that far, but you don't want to use it, like, on cooldown, which is basically what's happening. Again, darting for no reason. It's just like, Ana's abilities are very long cooldowns. You can't afford to just use them, because you never know when a fight's gonna start. And I've seen fights, like game-winning and losing fights, happen in the course of like 5 seconds. So if you sleep dart for basically no reason, and that means you can't trank like the high noon or something like that, it's very tragic. And it's just, you need to have a reason for doing something like that. Pretty good throw. Wouldn't have really recommended it myself, but you got him, so whatever. Just having a bit of a standoff. Wasted the grenade a bit again. And it's just like, they don't want to kill the turrets as they come through the gate, so it's rather difficult for them to get in. But like, we shouldn't have been hit by this graviton. We could have been standing further back than we were still, and then we would not have been pulled in, because we don't want to be in the black hole, weirdly enough. But it's okay, because their team accidentally nano-boosted the Zenyatta, which is not exactly great. Now, this was very upsetting to me when I watched this earlier, because I saw him coming. Like, he is coming right at you, and by the time you even notice him, he's basically on top of you. So that's just not having very good awareness of the threats that are coming for you. Because that's the thing with Ana, is that your highest priority is staying alive. Because if you die, well, if any support dies, but Ana in particular, because she's a very strong hero, dying as a support is the worst thing you can do, because that's basically a death sentence for the rest of your team. So you need to prioritize safety above most other things, because if you die, they die, you know? So we need to keep tabs on where the threats are and where they're coming from, and where we should be standing to avoid having to get into the situation at all. So that we can just sit real far back and just be like, yep, I ain't gonna die. Now, this is tragically not worth doing, because there was no way you were going to get to that in time, and even if you did, you weren't going to save it yourself. So this is an unnecessary death, because you took a 0% chance of success play and got punished for it. You do not want to like, if an objective's about to get taken and there's a lot of people on it, but not a lot of your team on it, you just don't go for it, because if you go too far to try and they end up punishing you for it, that's very punishing for that to happen, because it tends to have a cascading effect. Because, like, someone will see you going forward and they might follow you, and then 2 people are going to get picked off, Or the other team's going to be like, oh, let's go really aggressive now because they're down a member. Maybe we can pick someone else off. So it's really bad to, like, go for something you know you can't save because it's a pointless risk. You most likely will die when you could just be setting up further back to defend something you actually have a chance of saving. So this is a very weird position that we're in right now. Didn't catch that the first time I watched that. If you're playing Ana, and there's a Reinhardt on your team, as there should be, do not try to pressure Reinhardt into starting a fight by just nano boosting him for the sake of it. Because, like, if there was a fight to be picked at that moment, Reinhardt probably would have picked it. So by nano boosting him, you make him react like, oh, now I have to go in. Even if it's a bad situation, he, like, feels obligated to do it. Don't do that. Wait for Reinhardt to pick the fight, and then nano boost him once he starts engaging. Because Reinhardt is going to naturally have a better sense of if we should pick a fight, because Reinhardt is the one creating and mitigating pressure. So he knows when he can engage. You probably don't because you're worrying about a bunch of other things. Don't try and also worry about engaging the fight because you've got to focus on so many things. You've got to focus on staying safe. You've got to focus on healing people. You've got to focus on doing damage if there's a Pharah or someone you can get. You got to sleep dart people. You got so much to think about. You don't want to be also thinking, all right, how can I start the fight? It's not your concern. You don't need to try and do that. Now, Reinhardt's gone in far too deep, and he's got the healing debuff on him. And again, because we've used our Trank unnecessarily, we couldn't use it to try and stop Reaper from chasing us, and realistically, we should have probably died to Reaper right there. Because he was coming full tilt at us, but he just didn't quite kill us. So now we've seen their Pharah again, we do need to try and get her if at all possible. We are again standing way too close. We are way too close to the enemy team. We can be on the other end of this place, and it is perfectly fine. This is a completely open area. And like, we can't even see anybody. We can't see anybody. We're at the front of our team right now. We can't see who needs support, what's, like, if there's gonna be a fight anytime soon. Like, and we're just risking our lives for no reason. Like, there's no reason we should have died right there. We came up to contest the point, even though, like, that is not our job, first off. And it's just like, you're not gonna, even if you try, there's like no way you can, realistically. You're playing Ana. You can't contest a point by yourself. Not a great Trank, because you could have tried to Trank Reinhardt out of that right there. You're not, like, positioning too close because this area is so confined, but that point is also basically gone, and there's no way you defend it, so you should have just been falling back a lot sooner to get set up, because now your team is without you for a while, and they'll just be getting damaged, and it's like, if they start taking a lot of damage, Lucio is not going to be able to support them without you there, so this is just unfortunate that we have to come back from dying for basically no reason. Get wasted grenade a bit there again. I don't know if you knew Roadhog had his ult right there, because, like, the sound... By the way, there's no sound, because the sound sounds like this. Which is why we're not having the sound on for this game. So, let me go back a bit, because I was busy thinking about the sound. So, you should throw the grenade at that man over there, because he was taking a lot of damage right there. Now, where do you're so close to the enemy team at all points that it's really hard to, like, Trank a Reinhardt out of his charge, which you're really trying to do. It is very important to try and stop the enemy Reinhardt pinning someone. And this is, like, the safest point where we could be standing really far back, because we could be standing up on this balcony, and it is incredibly difficult to get to that balcony. We are very safe up there, and also it's high ground, and as Star Wars taught us, high ground is very overpowered. So we could be standing up here, but we're not. We're standing down here again, and because we're standing down here, we're fucked if something like this happens, because there's no way we get out, and we just missed our Trank on Reinhardt because we reacted so late. We, like, had so little warning it was going to happen that we ended up wasting it anyway. So we can't stop this, and we're just fucked. We're just fucked. Reapers killed everyone. Winston's trying to hide, but unfortunately he's a pretty big guy. They spotted him pretty fast. That was an okay grenade. I'll give you that one. So, like, there's not much point trying to trank Reaper right there, I don't think, because you want to trank something like that. Like, you try to trank Reaper. But the thing is, we know Reaper doesn't have his ultimate because we just died to it. So we don't, like, he's not as important to trank anymore because we can kind of just try to deal with him by other means. So we can save the sleep dart for, like, the Pharah doing exactly that, because her doing that is a bigger threat than the Reaper just walking around shooting people. Not to say Reaper is, like, zero threat, but you get the idea. So, I don't think you get back in time to try and contest this again. No, no way. Oh, maybe way? No, yeah, I mean, it's like, what are you gonna do, though? What are you gonna do? You're gonna stand up there and instantly die, so it doesn't really matter. So, it's, the thing that really stands out to me, in this game is just that there's a very poor management of resources in this game. You use all of your abilities very, very frivolously, just kind of for the sake of pushing the button. And like Ana is so strong because she can do so many things. It's really easy to carry as Ana if you like play to your strengths, which she has a lot of because she's good at picking people. She's the best healer. She's the best debuffer because like the healing debuff is as bad as Discord, but it's AoE. You know, so we need to try and use these cooldowns more effectively because we throw a lot of them on the ground when we could be using them for greater causes. Good job not walking out the door ahead of the tanks. See a lot of people die like that. McCree, however. So it's not so terrible to be standing here when you're attacking because you can't really stand too much further back and actually see what's happening, so this is kind of the best place we could be. Again, like, we straight up threw that dart at his shield. Like, it's not helpful to do this. And, like, we have a Roadhog. It would be so easy. If we get a trank on someone important, that person is dead. So, it's just, we can't be wasting things like that. Also, I did notice that you, don't prioritize healing people as highly if they're just taking chip damage. Because, like, D.Va was, like, walking around at half HP there for a while, but you didn't try to heal her. And I don't know if that's because you think Mercy is gonna do it, but even if she is, frankly, your ultimate is more important than hers, so you should be healing these people instead, just because your ultimate is much more impactful than Mercy's is. Well, more independently, like, pivotal than Mercy's, because Mercy has to have everybody die in a convenient location and also be alive herself. Nano Boost, however, we very direly need because we are going to have trouble pushing through this choke point without it, so we should be healing people more to try and, even just like chip damage, like right there, Reinhardt's pretty low and we wait a while to heal him. Alright, so now we got Nano Boost, we want to be looking for an opportunity to use it. Hopefully Reinhardt will pick a fight, but unfortunately, like, Reinhardt doesn't try to walk forward that much. Again, we're trying to pressure him into engaging right there, which we shouldn't do, because it's so hard to push through this gate, we can't just try and force it on someone. We do have to try and get an opportunity if we're actually going to get in the door. And then, you know, you just got hit by a bunch of stuff that you couldn't really see coming, so that's pretty unfortunate. And now we don't have a nano boost again, so we gotta get to work charging that again. Did trank someone that time, and someone immediately woke him up by the look of it, which is sad. You don't need to go around to this guy. You go a very long way to get to this guy, but you could see Mercy was also going, so you did not need to take this long path to do this. This is a fairly decent place to stand, though. Again, it's high ground, but we can't really see in as well from here, so it's, you know, give or take. It's very unfortunate that Roadhog didn't wait for you to have your ultimate, because that would have been quite helpful to get through this choke point. Now, we are standing way too close. We should not be standing that close at that point, because we got knocked down to 6 hit points by Zarya, and Zarya knew we were still there. So we should not have been standing that close to the corner. We got picked off for, like, no reason, because we could have just been standing, like, 5 feet back, and we wouldn't have died. So, it's real difficult at this point, because your team just... It's hard to get in if you don't get in fairly quickly, because they just start stacking up this ult advantage. Now, let me back up a little bit to see that charge, because I don't remember if you could have stopped that or not. This is a little bit too far back, actually. Yeah, no, you couldn't see him. Roadhog was in the way, so we'll forgive that one. We'll forgive you not tranking that guy. Again, not healing up Reinhardt while he's low HP, instead going for that health pack. We need to charge ult and get Reinhardt healthy, so we could have gone for that later. It's not like we were gonna die over there. Don't do that. Don't do that. Again, the grenade is the really powerful thing about Ana. Or one of the most powerful things about Ana. And it is very hard to hit people who are on high ground by throwing a grenade at them. This is why Junkrat is very bad at attacking, because he is awful at firing up onto high ground. Grenades are not good for that. Try to avoid throwing a grenade up like that if you can. It's just too hard to hit reliably. Now, again, we basically every time we nano boost, we just sort of force Reinhardt into it. But it's just not what we want. It's just not what we should be trying to do. Reinhardt's got to see the play himself. Now, it's very, very odd to me that you chose to walk forward right there, because, like, you revive and you see him ulting and you keep walking forward. Like, with the invulnerability you had, and, like, D.Va being there, you could have just walked backwards and you wouldn't have died to him. I don't know why you decided to walk forward instead. Because it's not like we're gonna kill him. Like, Ana does not deal damage fast enough to kill a soldier through his tac visor. Now, we're just basically going to get one last push in, and it's not going to go very well, I'm sorry to tell you. Again, Roadhog's ulting, but you don't have your ultimate. This time, you could have, like, this one is not like he should have waited for you to have your ult. It's like you should have waited for a better opportunity to use your ult, because we keep forcing it on Reinhardt. We need to... Also, they're, like, way too far forward there. We're standing on the front of Reinhardt's shield for some reason. Why are we doing that? We gotta back up. We gotta stand behind that thing. We don't want to die. I don't think you actually even get back to see another enemy at this point. Yeah, no, they don't make it. They don't make it. D.Va might make it? No, D.Va's not gonna make it. Okay, so, like, the one thing that I would advise to work on throughout this, like, based off this game, is just smarter use of cooldowns, and, well, I was gonna say, and better ult use, but that's kind of also cooldown usage, isn't it? Just slightly different. Because we waste so many resources. Like, we just throw darts at people randomly, just, like, hoping it'll hit something, instead of actually trying to, like, aim for somebody so that we can get them. Like, 90% of the grenades we used in this game were on people that didn't need to be grenaded, because it was, between encounters, or just didn't need to be used at that time, because, like Reinhardt's taken a little bit of damage, and then suddenly we're like, oh fuck, well, we gotta throw the grenade at him, even if, we just don't, we could just shoot him. We could just shoot him. We could just shoot a lot of the people we threw grenades at, because I know I'm sounding like a broken record. I'm gonna stop that train of thought right there. Yeah, the most important thing is cooldown usage, I think, because it's slightly lackluster. Positioning is secondary to that. You stand very far forward. You do not need to stand so far forward. A really good thing about Ana is that you can be standing a fucking mile away from your team and still heal them. You don't want to be so far back that if, like, a Genji appears, you can't, like, your team can't help you, but you don't want to be standing so close that you're actually, like, in danger of being hit by the enemy. We need to survive, because if we don't survive, all our terrible little baby children are going to die, and we don't want that.